So just sit in an easy pose with your legs folded one over the other, with your palms above your knees, facing up. Slightly turn your head up with your eyes closed. Focus towards the middle, right between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw, and with inhale, say, I am not the body. And with exhale, say, I am not even the mind. Inhale, I am not the body. Exhale, I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I am not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. Not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. I am not the body. I'm not even the mind. Take a second. Sit in silence. Head still tilted up. Eyes still closed. Now take your time. Take your time. slowly open your eyes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Mind, Body, and Monkh. I am your host, Monkh, and this is my good friend, Moji Sidiqui. She's the founder of Regional Muslim Action Network. What's up, Moji?
What's up, Monkh?
It's been a while since we've seen each other.
I know. It's so nice to see you.
Maybe a couple weeks. So not that long, but too long. Too long.
Well, considering we used to see each other almost every day.
Every day.
At work.
Exactly.
Yes.
For the people who don't either know me or Moj over here, we used to work together at a place called Apple. I don't know if I'm able to say that, so we're just gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we really started our conversations. You know, we would I would come in at around 8 o'clock in the morning. We were like in this little closet. I'm not really making Apple look good right now. We would come into what we call a repair room. It was just this little room. And we would just start getting at it like, yo, you know, what you think about this, what you think about that. And that's, I can think, where we found our balance, you know, first and foremost, and everything. So, you know, just for everybody listening, give them a little background on like who you are, kind of like where you've come from, this, you know, everything that kind of have built you into what you do today.
Yeah, so my name is Moji Sidiqui. I was born in Afghanistan. I was raised in Moscow, and I've spent the majority of my life here in St. Louis. I've studied psychology and communication and exercise, fitness training. And I've spent a really good chunk of my life since I was about 23 years old studying spirituality and just kind of getting to know myself from a introspective lens. And that's really where everything began for me as far as my identity. And working at Apple, I was challenged by Lori. Do you know Lori? You know Lori. Everyone knows Lori who worked at Apple. Should know Lori. She challenged me to do volunteer work because I was going through some really deep things in my life. And she told me, whenever you volunteer, you know, you help other people, your problems minimize, and then you realize the potential that you have to touch lives. So that really began my volunteer, like working in the nonprofit world started there. So Regional Muslim Action Network was incepted in the beginning of this pandemic when everything changed, and I stopped working for this organization called CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of Regional Muslim Action Network coming to life was because I faced a lot of challenges being a Muslim activist, as far as like misogyny and not having the type of support that I needed from my community. So then I decided I'm going to be my community until I built that community. And I'm also going to create a platform where women like myself aren't relying on men to put them in positions of success. Instead, you know, I'm going to create a platform for myself. And so that's where we are right now. I've got a group of 6 girls, so it's all female powerhouse right now. We're working on different things. We're working on addressing the drug issue in the Muslim youth, and like vaping in particular. And we're working on addressing the struggles of holding on to our crown being our hijabs. And we are putting together like a self-defense workshop to teach women how to, of course, be able to defend themselves in certain types of situations, but also like teach girls gun safety and teach them the importance of, you know, being well equipped and being proactive as opposed to being reactive and, God forbid, being put in positions, you know, where they're vulnerable and can't defend themselves. And the big reason for that, the self-defense stuff, is because President Donald Trump, since his campaign in 2016, Islamophobia has quadrupled.
Right.
So that's really like my role, is to empower Muslim women, because I feel like I wasn't really necessarily empowered. And working in the nonprofit field has taught me a lot. So I'm just trying to be as proactive as I can for as many women as possible.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And like you are one of those people that just like it's hard. You're one of those people that when you step into a room, it just like lights up because you permeate like everything that you just spoke. You know, when I first met you, I think I was working like the front of the store or something, and I turn around and you're just like smiling at me, and I'm like, who is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is she so happy at this crazy place, kind of thing. And then, like I said, when we started talking and stuff, I was like, you know, I could just tell you were a spiritual being first and foremost. And being one of those people, I feel like we can all see each other, no matter where backgrounds that we came from. It's like we can all feel that vibe is all the same vibe, you know, no matter what.
Yeah. Because we are spirits, you know. We're not physical. This is a temporary state. We're eternal beings. We come with all the love and all the knowledge and all the wisdom that's forever there. We're with it. It's just a matter of acknowledging that we are more than just flesh.
Right.
And once you recognize that you are an eternal being, then you're able to recognize other eternal beings. And then it's just like the dance of the universes, as opposed to like this friction that the physical, the lower vibrational thought makes you think like we're in this like space and I'm sharing your food, which is not really that. It's so much more. There's everything all the time. It's just abundant.
I always tell people that, you know, it's like our bodies are like cars, you know what I mean? And it kind of sounds ridiculous to base somebody off the car that they drive or the car that they're in, you know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't say that you're a Ford Focus or a BMW or whatever, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's the thing that's inside of it. It's the person that's inside of it, you know? And it definitely aligned with that. And my personal belief is that, you know, we're all one spirit, just in different bodies, you know, and that's the spirit of God consciousness, you know, or the Supreme Godhead.
Yeah.
And it just builds down or breaks down into each little being and every little thing, from this table to every single thing in this universe, you know, in this existence. So that's what's so crazy, that I think, especially the Western world, we're trapped inside such a materialistic, you know, I think America is the most materialistic country in the world.
Consumer,
and even just, you know, cultures and everything. It's all about how much we have, how much stuff we have that we're not even going to take with us, you know, into the next lifetime.
Being weighed down.
And we don't even really
possession.
respect the materialism either. You know what I mean? It's like we're not even a real materialistic, I feel like. I think we take the material stuff and then it's great today, and tomorrow we're like, oh, it's old, throw it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we don't even necessarily respect the materialistic ways that we have.
The material is just on the same like vibration as the flesh and the physical, because if you're trying to fulfill yourself with things, it's this endless like black hole. You'll never fulfill yourself with things, but once you realize that you are everything, you already come with everything, then you realize you want more experiences and you want more moments, raw, real, organic moments. And that's where like living in the present is fulfilling.
Right.
Because you're not eager to, you know, hurry up and get to the future, or hurry up and buy this car, or buy this thing that's going to make you feel good. Or like some people are even worse, and they live in the past, and they can't even like experience the now or the future because they're back here. But yeah, that's why I love having these conversations with you. And I guess today's topic is more along the lines of like interfaith, right? Because we
Exactly. I was just going to get to that.
We want to zoom into interfaith, something that we both hold so dear. Because we don't share the same faith, or the faith that we identify with.
Right.
But yet here we are, talking about the most personal, most intimate thing to us, ourselves.
Right. And when we talk about stuff, we talk about the same topic that we're saying. We're not necessarily interjecting, because personally, you know, I've jumped from this to that. I'm a big fan of history, just trying to dive as much as I can into it, knowing that there are illusions around it, but that adds religion, that adds background, that adds faith. And so when we speak on that, it's like we're not even really adding necessarily like the stories of our personal faith as much as we're adding the middle ground of what the core of every single one of those are. So, you know, explain a little bit more about what interfaith is to you.
Yeah. So interfaith work is whenever you are in the nonprofit field. Interfaith work, intersectionality is when you're working with, you identify yourself as one faith. So I identify myself as a Muslim, and so I do work for the Muslim community, but I work alongside Christian churches, Christian organizations, Christian-run nonprofits, work alongside Jewish organizations, Jewish nonprofits, and we come together under this umbrella of interfaith because we know that we're coexisting. Right. And we understand that our people share in the same issues of hunger, of domestic violence, of needing mental health support, all these commonalities that we have in the same countries that we share space in. So we do this work. Now, what does interfaith mean to me personally? In my faith and the research that I've done, I've pretty much simplified it in my own head. Basically, God has eliminated racism before even the inception of mankind. There's a story in the Quran that talks about how God commanded Angel Gabriel to go to the earth and collect dirt from every region of the earth and bring that back, and with that, he created Adam. So if you really dive in and think about what that really means is that we come from every continent. Our father, Adam, the first human being, was made from the entire earth's dirt, and that the whole point of that is to say that I'm also black and you're also Afghan and everyone is Pakistani in some way, shape, or form, because our father at inception was all those things. Right. So God eliminated racism before even the creation of mankind was complete. That's really beautiful and very, very freeing. On the same token, the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, before he passed away, in his last sermon, in his words, he also eliminated racism from those who claim to be followers of Islam. And his phrase was basically that an Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Just a black has no superiority over a white, nor a white has any superiority over a black, except by piety and good action. So somebody who follows the teachings of Islam, who's actually studied what it truly teaches about race, has no room for racism. Right. Because if you understand how our father Adam was made, and then you understand the command of the prophet who you follow, he's told you cannot be racist you cannot be racist. The only way you judge man is by their character and how much goodness and pious and how compassionate they are and how giving and forgiving they are. And that's the only way to characterize yourself as superior or inferior. It's definitely not by race. So with all that being said, race, it's is your identity. So I'm a Muslim, I'm Afghan, I'm white, I'm Christian, I'm from wherever, and I'm Jewish. But we're all the same, though.
Right. Or you're none of those things at the same time, because you're all of those things, I love that. I love the story of building Adam out of the different types of soil and the different parts of the world, because if you think about it, that represents the materialistic world, and just in that, and making the material body. Not just that, but you think about the dirt of the desert, you think about the dirt just anywhere, they all have the different shades of each of our, human skin as well, so it represents so much just in that one story. And speaking of, Muhammad as well, he's got one of my favorite stories, of his, how he found his God consciousness and became the person that he was. And you care to elaborate on the beginning of all that, just because I've been sharing his story with so many different people, and just because it's like a lot of others. It's like Jesus and it's like Buddha's, but it's not at the same time. Yeah. It's interesting to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Every prophet's journey been kind of the same. Like you said, it's like Jesus, it's like David, it's like Aaron, it's like so many prophets. They went through that same struggle of being a man, because that's what they were men.
Mm-hmm.
So they got sleepy, they got tired, they had families, they felt pain, they experienced loss of the worst kind. Actually, they were tested more than we'll ever be tested, because they were sent as examples for us. Muhammad was an orphan. You know, Muhammad didn't come from wealth, but he was known for his compassion and his honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and guidance only comes from God, and that's why I'm never quick to like tell somebody about my faith or quick make somebody Muslim, or I'm not on a mission to convert anyone, because I know that faith comes from God. Just
Right.
like He guided His prophets, He guides His people.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to just guide ourselves through compassion. And so when I think of the prophet, I think about integrity, I think about character, and self-discipline. And he was just so compassionate, but at the same time incredibly hardworking and full of strength.
Right.
I mean, there are stories that talk about how he had a six-pack,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like he wasn't like in the gym like pumping iron.
Right. Different times.
He was different times.
Yeah.
He was just such a hard worker that he was built,
Mm-hmm.
because he wasn't spending his time watching TV. He wasn't spending his time just sitting around, you know, wasting time. Or no, he was producing. He's walking around. He's helping, you know, older people who can't pick up stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or he's building something, or he's, you know, I always think about his character and how he endlessly worked on his character, and what other people thought of him was his compassion and his generosity.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I try to emulate and follow.
Also confidence too, when he was led with resistance, you know, which was a lot of resistance, you know. I think as far as what I know, you know, he had a lot of confidence even with being outnumbered at certain points in times, you know.
Yeah.
He did have a lot of confidence and skill set to
A really strong faith. I
Right.
think his confidence stemmed from the awareness of his Lord,
right.
you know, and his God consciousness.
Mhm.
Because, you know, you can be confident in many different ways. You just know, like, okay, I have, like, my family is really strong. They're behind me. So that gives you confidence. Or I've prepared for my craft, so I have confidence in my craft. Right? You can have confidence in different ways. But his confidence came from his, like, strong faith. And knowing that he fought battles alongside 300 men fighting 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
How he overcame that.
It was confidence and strategy, you know.
And also knowing, like, if we're really going to talk about that, then, you know, there were angels fighting alongside. Like, there
Yeah.
are warrior angels actually fighting the battle.
Right.
You can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah, and that, you know, that goes along with that reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita as well in the Hindu religion, where both sides of the war is being fought. You know, Krishna being the Almighty God is in their light. Like Krishna was on both sides of the war. He said, "I'll give this one side my army, but I'm personally going to be on this other side, talking to Arjuna and leading him through his battles." You know. And the whole book is really about that. So I think that aligns a lot of same ways and what you're
Yeah, you can
propagating.
learn a lot about truth by piecing the puzzles, you know?
Right.
So, or puzzling the pieces together. So all that basically just tells me that we live in a multidimensional world
Mm-hmm.
where there are other entities surrounding us.
Right.
And so the Hindu scriptures
The Gita.
address
yes.
that,
Right.
teach that.
Yeah.
The Quran teaches that in different ways. We just have to be able to understand that a lot of these messages are universal.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just even the Christian belief too. And this is my belief. It's not necessarily pressed or anything like that. But you know, the devil is seen as just this evil character or whatever. But the devil was still created by God, right? So the devil is still a piece of God.
Yes.
You know, so even when you have the devil, you still have God within that, and putting that in a little bit more grounding words. You know what I mean? You can only hate so much before it turns into love, because you find out the people that you hate so much, if you do hate anybody, that you're so obsessed with that.
Yeah.
You're obsessed with the
Psychology
hatred.
actually proves that in a lot of ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's even. I remember one time I just got back from Portland. And I was having this conversation with our mutual friend Tef. Where I was saying that to him, and we were kind of going back and forth, and I think we were blowing each other's minds on that one thing, you know. But that just shows, like I said, that, you know, even the lower vibrations, because to me there isn't really a good or evil, it's just a higher and lower kind of thing, you know, still are a part of the same ultimate being, you know, which is what we call God, you know.
Yeah.
But going back to our interfaith stuff, and speaking on the interfaith gatherings, you had hit me up earlier on, early June, when, you know, George Floyd protests started hitting, after he was murdered by police, and you said, this is something that I want to do, that I'm a part of, and I would like for you to be a part of it, and of course I said yes, and then you guys had gathered at Forest Park, and you want to elaborate on what the mission of that was, and kind of what happened, and everything as far as that goes?
So, with everything that was going on with George Floyd, it was also like the break of the pandemic. So basically, we were all in a state of chaos globally. Then in America, a man was choked with a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in a public street. People lost it. People have already gone through a lot. Their patients have been like past due, tested, so they took it to the streets. A lot of these people didn't even know that they're, you know, possibly risking their lives, but this is more than that. It was more than that, you know, at this point. A lot of people were hurting, and so from like the spiritual perspective, I'm seeing a lot of people on the street, they're sort of getting healing because it's communal. They're coming together, they're venting, they're standing beside each other. But then there's like the other, you know, like the interfaith community, I say, the believers, you know, the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews and other people who practice, but they're afraid to go out. You know, they're actually practicing social distancing, and they're taking it seriously. No disrespect on those who are protesting on the streets, because that had to be done. But so we really I just felt like, me personally, I needed a space to like cry and pray with people who are also like at home, don't have a place to kind of vent. So that's when we decided that we're going to do a social distanced vigil and prayer. It took a little bit of work, because we had to, at Forest Park, we had to like put flags up and measure them, and every row was like 6 feet apart from each other. We had to get, you know, a bunch of candles and whatnot, but that was a great event. We had pastors, preachers, rabbis, imams, sheikhs, myself, and just like a bunch of even random people that came to Forest Park, and like they were touched by the event and the gathering, and they stopped by. But I think that it's great for us to be able to like protest. It's amazing for us to go out, you know, and change legislation and run for office and speak up on social media and do all these other things. But when it comes to prayer, and praying side by side, and then extending that prayer to people who pray a little differently than we pray, and making it a really safe space for us to come together and just pray and let those prayers heal us together. I think that was necessary, and that's just the kind of work that I just want to spend the rest of my life doing, is bringing the people of God who pray at home and would like to pray in public alongside each other, and just want to acknowledge the fact that I'm just here to pray. And that was the whole point of that event. And luckily, we were able to execute on that energy. And we had How long did we do our moment of silence for? Did we do it for the whole 8
We
minutes?
did, yeah, we did it for
Yeah, we did for the whole 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and I'll hold on to that event for the rest of my life, because that silence that we created together was unmatched, Yeah.
It was, and yeah, it was just a very beautiful experience. It brought out such great energy. I know everybody that either was there or even watched the live Facebook that was going on felt that. And there's so many sides of a quote unquote like revolution, or activism, you know what I mean? I really don't even like the word activist most of the time, because I feel like it was a word that was created by the same people we're fighting against to put a name on something, I feel like it's hard to say, because you could say this about anybody, but I just feel like we're just good people that want the best for the world. But this is, to me, this show is a part of my revolution. This is what I'm best at, is talking about things like this, and obviously you are the same. And that's why I feel like the Interfaith Gathering was the same fight against the same system, and breaking things down. That's really what I feel like revolution is. To me, a revolution starts with inside of you first and foremost, breaking down everything that's been conditioned inside of yourself throughout the many years, no matter where you are, where you come from, or anything, and finding that true soul, that true eternal being inside of you. And then that's when you turn into what we call today a light. So it's like you're just gigantic light all of a sudden, and then people kind of gravitate towards you, and it's kind of, you become that responsibility of kind of, I don't want to say leading people, because it's not a led thing, holding each other's hands. And we all kind of walk towards the same.
You just get humbled.
Exactly.
You get humbled because we're sharing everything.
Right.
And when you know that you are a universe, you know that you're also like weak.
Mm-hmm.
You get tired. You feel pain.
Right.
Other people get tired. Other people feel pain. And the realities of our world and our society and our climate, everyone's juggling so much at the same time. There has to be like dialogue like this. There has to be spaces like this where we're like, bro, I'm here with you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, really,
right.
I'm struggling with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's necessary. And that's healing.
Definitely. And it's like, and I know you've gone through this within the past year. I think maybe it might be over a year now. But, I went through it this year too, where, we feel like, and I'm not necessarily trying to tell everybody to quit their jobs, but like, you feel like you wake up every morning for this other person or this other company, and you're making money for this other person, your other company, and you're bringing in their issues, their problems, and you're fixing them. And there's, like I said, there's really nothing wrong with that, but being such a truth seeker and a soul seeker and stuff, there's a certain point where in your journey that you have to make that decision. That look, I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, there also is being said that, like, do what needs to be done. You know what I mean? So everybody has their path, but I feel like the same thing that you went through, I went through, and I know a lot of other spiritual seekers have gone through as well, where you kind of just say, what am I doing working this 9 to 5, for this X amount of money an hour kind of thing, when I can be just completely on my path and be a complete light and push that. And what has that done for you? Like, what did you go through first and foremost? I don't want to just say the lighter part of things, but what are some of the harder things that you went through during that process?
Obviously, off the bat, whenever you are starting something from nothing, it's always the finances. You get hit the hardest. Definitely. When you don't have a comfortable, steady paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the faith comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't let that worry me, because there's this verse in the Quran that always keeps me focused, and the verse is, I can't quote it, but I'm gonna paraphrase it. Basically, God says, this is the verse was given at a time where it was infanticide, where you kill baby girls because you can't afford to feed them, and this was at a time,
right.
not now.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it happened somewhere in the world, but it was like cultural. It was acceptable whenever you had a baby girl to kill the baby girl as opposed to the boy, because the boy leaves a legacy, blah blah blah.
Right.
But God revelated a verse to address that, and basically he said, do not kill your baby girls, because if I can provide for the birds who leave their nests in the morning with empty stomachs but return at night fully fed, I will provide for you and your children too.
Yeah.
So that always reminds me that like my Lord is gonna provide for me, especially if I have the faith that he's gonna provide for me. And I'm also the type of person that works hard, doesn't rely on man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I have to do what I have to do. So how do I fund my organization? Until I get this fundraising thing going, until I create an image and create a brand for it and convince people to support the work that I do, I'm doing food deliveries in the meantime. It's humble work. It's humble work. Yeah, I have a degree. I could be working in a corporate job. I have 5 years of experience with Apple. I could be working with corporate Apple. But what is that gonna satisfy like my soul and my spirit? And I'm over here every day waking up feeling like I have this big purpose and I have to hurry up and live out my purpose, because I don't know how many years I'm gonna be living in this realm called the world. Right. So I gotta hurry up and like do more of what really, really makes me feel like this is what I'm here for, as opposed to making Steve Jobs' dream more of a reality at a retail level.
Right.
So it has its challenges, but even in those challenges, there's fulfillment. Because if you zoom into your purpose more and more, your purpose will drive you. And there's ways to make money in this country where you do not have to report to a cubicle and like lose your identity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely recently kind of went through. Last year around June, I just did say, you know what, everything I worked towards as far as getting to this higher point in the work field, I said, I'm gonna stop all of it. And find myself truthfully in all this. It was like God said, in the midst of like the most chaotic part of, I live in downtown St. Louis. My place was boarded up. The streets were on fire June 1st, right outside my home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was out there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But yeah, not even just that, but they push St. Louis to be the murder capital of the United States a lot of the times too. So being in that light, I felt like God was like, yo, come here for a minute. I gotta talk to you. You know what I mean? And pushed me aside, and then that's where I kind of went into straight up. I might as well have been in the Himalayan mountains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I felt like, and I still do today. And I used to worry so much and not having my bills paid. I used to worry so much about all these things, about my goals not being fulfilled, my, being a musician, not having the money to push my music kind of thing, and all this stuff. It all just went away within meditation and yoga and then just diving in the way that I did. It all just was like one day was just kind of like gone. And that's the day that everybody started looking at me crazy too. And that's the same day that I was like, I don't care.
Great. That's the day you're doing things right.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's God makes this path for you. It shows that the people that are there for you to be there for you regardless of where you are in this world.
And it's like about team building. At that point, it's about team building, and the right people will come along, and God will bring the right people along to build that team and that structure so that it becomes a reality. And when you announced that you're going to do your podcast and the name is so perfect, it's just so perfect, I was so happy. And I'm ever more grateful and honored to be sitting here at its inception and its beginning stages. And I'm so excited to see where you take this and how many hearts you touch and how many lives you make a difference in.
Yes, and you know, as far as the interfaith gathering stuff, I really just want to bring it to this table and to this room, and you know, if we can get the same kind of situation that we did in Forest Park here, and really bring that out, especially because we might be going into another lockdown and you know, go through a whole other year of a pandemic. I think it's important to keep this stronger than ever. You know, because people are going to need this. They're going to need the yoga. They're going to need the different mind states. They're going to need people sitting there going, this is okay. You know, we're all going to be okay during this process. You know, especially here in the Midwest of the United States, if not even further out. You know, because I'm trying to reach as far as possible with this. You know.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, you know, I think we should wrap up. Is there anywhere we could find Regional Muslim Action Network organization?
Yep. We are on
Hit 'em up.
Facebook
Let 'em know.
and Instagram.
Bam.
And so it's Regional Muslim Action Network. And my name is Moji Sidiqui. A lot of good things are going to be coming to St. Louis. I'm going to be doing more interfaith stuff. We're going to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest challenge is it's all virtual, you know, and we are like real people with energies that are real, and
We have
the
energies,
physical, we have energies, and when it's real, it's easier. I feel like bringing in people into one space and then projecting that energy is so easy because it's right there and it's done.
Right.
Figuring out how to do that and then put it on a screen and then give that energy, that right now is the aim.
Right.
For me, for you, for a lot of us, because I feel like we've taken the physical, the real, for granted because we didn't know we were going to be in a coronavirus pandemic at some point in our future, and we'd have to figure out how to translate this thing that God has given us into the screen. But we have to figure it out because this is our new world. It's a new age. I don't think we'll ever go back to how we used to be. I think we're moving forward towards a new us and a new way of connecting and touching each other, and we have to figure out how to touch each other on the screen, through the screen.
Exactly, and I think a lot of that is for the better. You know, not necessarily in saying that, not necessarily for social distancing or anything like that, but changing the world for the better. You know what I mean? A lot of what was going on before, I see this as a cleanse or an opportunity of cleanse. I think a lot of people are trying to keep it the same, and those are and people like us are trying to cleanse. You know, and that's literally what this whole show is about, is the cleansing process.
It's a new age.
Right.
We have to accept it.
Right.
And we have to, like Bobby always says, be malleable. We have to like dance with it, you know? And it's also like survival of the fittest. Like if you're one of those type of people, you want to think about it being like evolution. Yeah, this is evolution. We are in an evolution right now.
Right.
We're morphing into a new human.
Social evolution, yeah.
So we got to figure it out. We just got to be positive about it, you know?
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, what are some things that you're up to? You know, what are some things, you know, maybe that you want to speak of that you're going to come out with soon?
Yeah.
I know me and you were working on some stuff in the background as well. So you care to speak on any of that?
Absolutely. I'm working on a boot camp. I'm working on like my fitness brand called Fit Moji.
Oh, I love it.
So, of course, it's going to be tailored towards women. A lot of my stuff is tailored towards women. Getting them fit, you know, mind, body, spirit. And you and I are working on like a playlist, an audio playlist of me, you know, telling things like motivational stuff, inspirational stuff.
Keep people going.
Get the people going, you know, stuff like that. And then
I like how you said that too. Get the people going, because it's energized. You know, you press play, and it's like Moji's in your face, yo.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It excites me. Again, just getting people going through the digital. Gotta put that personality and that energy into the mics and into the cameras, into the pictures. And I'm also going to be coming out with a podcast soon, too, because I've got a lot of things to say, and a lot of people who don't want to hear it, and I want to force them to listen to me.
You got a lot of people that do want to hear it, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all of them. It's for all of them. So a lot of good things coming, but the whole intent of all of it is to just create light, lead with love, and create safe spaces for women and for people of faith and for people who are like just about the energy and about the love.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Moj, like, you know, we're family. I see you as family, definitely. And you've always been a person that is unapologetically breaking down old walls and building these new beautiful castles in people's minds. And so I thank you for that. I thank you for coming on. And when I built this whole idea, I mean, you were one of the main people that I had in my mind. So I hope to have you on even more. I hope to bring the interfaith gathering to this even more, and to bring togetherness to people, the inner revolution to people within this as well. And I would love to have you a part of that. So once again, thank you for being a part of episode 2 of Mind, Body, and Monkh. You got anything, any signing outs or anything?
I would just say that all praise is to the Most High, who is supreme and the most compassionate.
Love it. All right, y'all. Peace.
So what it comes down to, you see, is basically this. Just in the same way that the authority of the Guru is your authority. You did it. So the place where you are in life is where you've put yourself. And just as on the surface of the sphere, every point may be regarded as the center of the surface, so every place